Let's just say hypothetically that you have two colors of paint and you want to blend these two colors together. You put the two paints side by side, it will actually blend together and make a third color. And you can really water it way down and still get heavy saturation and the paint won't separate. It's all cracked up. It turns back into clay. So you can mold with it. And then you have these little chunks of pieces like this that you can grind up, or you can add water to it, let it sit for like 6 months, and then it will slowly turn back into paint.
Letting you know you're not alone. Letting you know you're not alone.
DIY paint is so unique that it's not even classified as a formal paint. It's just 9 ingredients, and you can get really smooth, highly saturated, soft blends, or you can get super heavy texture. I'm going to attempt to show you both in this video.
Something in the silence speaking.
When I was about 12 years old, my family decided to drive to Washington State. We had this Dodge van. It was orange. And there was orange shag carpeting up the sides of the van. This was the 70s. My dad had the sideburns. My mom's hair was long and blonde and parted down the middle. We go on this family trip going up the coast of California. Once you get into Central California, it's where all the farming happens, and there's these little roadside stands that sell produce. Strawberries, peaches, apples.
To get this look, I started by taking a piece of chalk so I would have a guide as to where to put the pink colors and where to put the green colors. I've been taking art classes hoping that it will help me with my furniture, and I've noticed that artists use several shades of the same color. So I am mixing up several shades of green and pink, hoping to create more depth in this project.
My mom would stop and get food for us. She hands me this peach. It is huge. It tasted like biting into this velvet ball of juicy goodness. Can I have another peach? Debbie, we ate all the peaches. Well, let's get some more. And well, this peach came from the roadside stand and it's like 200 miles behind us.
Took the lid off of Summer Crush and I let it thicken up. I'm using this as my undercolor.
It's liquidy, it's smooth, it's mostly clay, so you can water this paint way down and get ultra smooth, rich, saturated color. So you can take the paint and put it on a paper plate and let it just thicken up depending on the temperature and get it to the consistency where it's like this. It's thick, it's a little bit chunky, but it's still runny. Cake frosting maybe, or spackle. I like to put it in corners and edges of the furniture to make an old world style. You want to take a spatula, a rubber tool, and you just smush it on. You don't want to try and create texture by pulling it like a stick of butter across a piece of bread.
I'm using a popsicle stick here. You just want something flat to apply the paint in the areas where you want natural buildup of texture. I'm going for a super textured look, but you could do this on a much more conservative scale. You just apply it in the corners and the edges where paint would naturally build up over time.
We go to the grocery store and she picks out some peaches. It's nothing like the peach from the roadside stand. I was so disappointed. Mom, why can't we just get more peaches? Debbie, I don't know. Some peaches are better than others. You're gonna have to wait until we're headed back home, and then we will go back to that stand and we will get more peaches.
I'm using my heat gun to speed up the drying process. This will also create some beautiful cracking. You want this undercolor to be completely dry before you paint over it and start blending.
I love you, Madeline. I love you, Madeline.
Now I'm going over all this texture with my various shades of green. I'm blending these colors together by moving my brush in several different directions. At points, I will even swirl my brush and use water to get the colors to blend together.
The moment I laid eyes on you, every breath was a gift. Felt like I was living in a dream.
We had a really good family vacation, but the thing I remember the most is I could not wait for the whole thing to be over so I could get another peach. It's finally time to head back home. And so we get in the orange van. How far is it to the peaches, Mom? She would show me the map. Here we are, and here's where the peaches were. We have to travel hundreds of miles. Where are we now? Show me the map. We start zeroing in on the area. It was just a little stand on the side of the road. Keep your eyes peeled. It should be here any minute. This is the town. And we're rolling up, and there is the peach stand. And it is shut down, boarded up, closed, and nobody is there.
I want Jesus to walk with me.
Now I'm mixing several shades of pink. Some of them are warm and some of them are cool. It creates a lot more interest on your project if you have a mix of warm and cool colors. Mixing colors is pretty easy with DIY paint. Just remember to add a little bit at a time until you get the desired color that you want. Generally, I like to keep the darker colors towards the edges of the furniture and in the nooks and crannies where the shadows would normally be, and put the lighter shades towards the middle. But I also don't like to do this too perfectly. I want it to look sort of organic. And achieving this look is just a matter of playing with it and moving your brush in all different directions.
Mom, what do we do? Do we get out? No, honey, we can't, but we need the peaches. I've been waiting for these peaches. We just had to keep on driving. And the peach stand was far off in the distance, and I'm looking at it out the rear view mirror, and I was so disappointed. We'll find more peaches. Debbie, there's peaches. We can get some good peaches when we get home. She shopped at this organic little grocery store that was kind of like a farmer's market in the 70s.
I am using the olive crest mold and paper clay. You want to lightly dust your molds with cornstarch first. I love the paper clay because you can take it out immediately and you can layer the molds up and create really unique looks.
We get home and she brings home some peaches from the grocery store, and right away I could tell they weren't going to be good. First of all, they weren't big. And then I bite into them and they have this mealy taste. No, this is not the peach. Every time we would go to the grocery store, I would be checking out the peaches. My mom would be looking for peaches. She found a few B- peaches, but never anything touched the peaches from the orange van road trip to Washington State.
I like to use Aleene's Tacky Glue because it's super strong, it's non-toxic, and it dries clear. You can get this at your local craft supply or on Amazon. Just make sure you apply it liberally, then tape it in place so it doesn't slide down the front of your furniture. You can also use a knife to create the divides where the drawers open.
Find a little spot in the shade, pink lemonade, pink lemonade. Everything is going my way, pink lemonade, pink lemonade.
I take a sip and I'm in heaven. The dopamine is dripping on my brain.
After a while, I just gave up. No, those were magical peaches. I'm never gonna find them again. Every time I would see a peach at the grocery store, pass, forget it. Nothing could live up to my childhood peach, so I didn't even eat peaches. I just wrote off peaches. You could get cherries and watermelon and cantaloupe, so I just ate those things. I just decided that peaches were no bueno. Decades go by. I am probably like in my mid-30s. Right down the street from this building right here, there would be a farmer's market every Sunday, just at the end of this block, right over here.
After all the molds were glued in place and dried, I went back in with darker colors to create that depth and shadows right up to the edge of the molds. When you add a second layer of paint to a blended piece, you have to feather out your colors. That's what I'm doing here, and I'm also using a really light touch.
You got your mama's sunshine, you got your daddy's rain. You're like a piece of heaven in a hurricane, and it's bubbling over like a sweet champagne. You got your mama's sunshine, you got your daddy's rain.
I lived right behind this store and I could walk to work. I lock up the store, I'm walking home, and the farmer's market is closing down and all the vendors are packing up their fruit. There is this lady and she's got nothing but peaches, and the peaches were huge. Whoa. Immediately I flash back to being a kid in the orange van. I had not eaten a peach in years, but I'm smelling them and they smell good and they feel good. Like, you know, that perfect peach consistency when you push on it and it's got the right amount of bounce back. She was putting all these peaches away into her cardboard boxes. There's a little plate on her table where she had samples with toothpicks, and I get a taste of the peach. That tastes good. That tastes like the peaches from when I was 11.
My blending process seems to work something like this. I'll get it all done, I'll step back, and I'll think, I need a little more highlight here and a little more shadow here. It seems like a lot, but these little details really seem to add a lot to the project. I like to add the lighter colors toward the center of the handles and the darker colors in between the drawers where the shadows would normally fall.
Maybe I just had a sample of one good peach in the bunch, because that has happened before. I bought 6 peaches and one is pretty good and the rest of them are ugh. Okay, I'm gonna try another sample. Oh my gosh. What if these peaches? But they were expensive because they were big. How many peaches do I buy? Do I buy 3? What if they're all good? She's not gonna be back until next Sunday. If they're good, I want a lot. She's putting the peaches in her van. Make a decision, Debbie. I buy like 5 peaches. I'm rolling the dice. And I whip a peach out and it's not even washed, but I have to know. I don't care that it's dirty. And I bite into this thing.
I already know that I'm going to put gold wax on top of these molds, and I've found that you can make the gold really pop if you choose a dark color to paint underneath. I chose the dark green because it would be easy to blend into the existing surface.
Everything that I had been trying to find for 20 years. I'm starting to panic. Debbie, you could turn around right now. You could run back to her. You could get enough peaches to get you through the week until she comes back next week. You need to get her card. I don't know. Maybe she'll be gone by the time I get back.
Ready, putting on my suede shoes some days. You just gotta let loose, hit every street like a dance floor.
When I get all the paint on and it's exactly where I want it, I take the pigments and I go in for some deeper shadows and intense pops of color.
For the evening, take a little step, get the groove aligned, slide into the motions, look into the time. It's so easy once you get it going, everything is dreaming.
I like to get my furniture where it's all blended and the paint has dried, but I haven't added any wax, I have not added any sealer. You can take the tiniest amount of this pigment, get a brush, any size, depending on your look. You dip your brush in some water so that the bristles are wet. Then you take your brush and you dip it into the pigment so that the pigment sticks to the end of the brush. You don't need any other type of thing but water. And then you glide it across the surface. Really bright little pops of color here and there in the cracks and the crevices.
Always static when I try to speak. Not an addict, I just need some sleep.
You can use our pigments in many ways. You can mix them into wax, you can mix them into a sealer, but this is my favorite way to use them because the color is really intense and you have a lot of control.
Nobody loves me.
There was a video I made last month and I put too many transfers on. They look better when there's more negative space. Once you get them on, they start looking really good and you just want to add more and more. So I was restraining myself. I was trying to leave that negative space in the background. Just keep that in mind. The transfers, you don't need to apply so many. And you can get this on my website, Franz Botanical. It's good.
I applied the transfers only to the pink side of this piece. I wanted the piece to look like it was cracking open. It's recommended that you apply a sealer to the paint before putting on a transfer. I did not do this because I wanted to apply wax. So in this case, I let the paint cure overnight. It went on, not as easy, but it worked.
Around. I cross back through the crosswalk and I run up to her car as she's packing them away. And I've got these huge bags full of peaches and I head back home and I eat them. I think I ate 3 in a row. They were so good. I call Bobby. You have got to try this peach. I didn't want him to go bad and I realized that I had bought way too many, and I tell him the whole story about the orange van and being 11, and I give it to him like this and I make him eat it in front of me. Like, oh yeah, it's good. Who was this woman? What is her name? And then I go to my family members and I present them with the peach. Clearly this woman has a peach orchard or something. We find out that her name is Maria. So Bobby, what's the problem? Here, it was missing a thing. What do you call those, handles?
A drawer pull.
Bobby's got to put it right there. I've got to knock off some of the mold. I'm going to paint it.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Okay, well, you know, there's always problems.
Brilliant.
But he's the fixer. He's the big fixer.
Then I applied clear wax and decrepit dust. This will make the colors pop and it will bring out all of the texture. You do this in sections so that the dust will stick to the wax before it dries, and then you wipe off the excess.
I love you, Madeline. I love you, Madeline.
Bobby was on it. She wasn't always at my farmer's market, just wherever she felt like going. Maria had her peaches and we were determined to maximize the potential of the peach eating situation all through the peach season. She would disappear and Bobby would hunt her down. I found Maria. He'd show up with the golden peaches. I made him FaceTime me at the hardware store and show me every handle there was.
Here's the one we got, and she didn't accept it.
You scratched it.
No, that's my pencil.
Oh, okay.
Did I ruin it? Because sometimes I ruin it.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is supposed to look sort of ruined. It's supposed to look cracked open and chipped up. There it goes. We're gonna have to glue that
Where
back.
was it?
I don't even know.
It's right there.
Oh yeah, you can tell. Okay. Do you like the pink color I chose, Bobby?
Yes. Is that what I'm supposed to say?
Yeah. Do you ever wear pink?
Yeah.
What do you have that's pink?
I have a pink dress shirt.
To chip out part of the mold so that the handle will go flush. We're gingerly
We are?
Chipping out the mold, yes, like a surgeon.
Oh, gingerly.
Yes, surgeon-like.
You didn't tell me that.
Furniture surgery. I'm gonna put a piece of molding right there. Thank you, Bobby.
You're welcome.
Our gold pigment is the best. It's the same pigment that we put in Golden Ticket, but it's in a wax form. And you can apply it with your finger. You can use a tiny little brush. You can just get in there and glam up the details. I like to carry this in my purse because you just never know. Like, oh, that would be so much better with a little gold wax, and you just whip it out and you rub it on.
I love this gold wax. You can apply it with your finger. You don't have to wear gloves. It's super soft and it totally brings out the beauty of the molds or details in your furniture.
Watching my videos, you know that my projects don't always turn out right. I paint over things a lot. Sometimes I just feel like I'm painting blindly and I'm just trying things, throwing it at the wall. Sometimes it turns out, but I don't know why it's good, and sometimes it's horrible and I don't know why it's horrible. The way that you learn and the way that you grow is simply by doing it.
After I thought I was all done with this piece, I had sealed it with a wax. I stepped back, I took a look at it, and I decided that I needed to add a little bit of pink into the green area. I wasn't sure if I could do it after the piece was already sealed, but I just repeated the process and feathered the pink out. The key was adding more green over the top of the pink and then feathering that out, and I'm really glad I did because I think it makes a big difference.
I'm gonna link a video below by Ira Glass. He says that perfectionism comes from having good taste. You recognize beautiful and you want to create something beautiful. And so you have this standard here, but you're learning and it's here. What comes out the end of my paintbrush, it's not what I had hoped it to be.
Last step is like the icing on the cake. After I waxed this, I took a very fine piece of sandpaper and I started going over the surface to bring back all of the texture. I wanted to bring back the orange underlayer and I wanted to emphasize the cracking. I am going to speed up the process so you can see how this final step brings out all the detail and makes all the difference.
Mercy. Mercy, mercy.
I was lost in the world, and leaning on myself. I played the religion card, I put Jesus on a shelf. We're born into darkness, I can't put it off the grave. So yeah, was thinking my own goodness could get me through heaven's gates.
Mercy, mercy, mercy.
I get comments that say, I wish I had your talent. I don't believe I have any special sauce. I just work at it a lot. And you can make the kind of things that you want to make. You just have to do the work.
Keep going, keep trying, because you will get there, and the only way that you learn is by doing it.
Spread a little happiness, spread a little bit of happiness.
To find DIY paint in your area, or to sell it in your store, or to find all the other products used in this video, click the link below. And follow me. I've got more stories and more videos. Thanks for watching.
To sing a sad song, yeah. Lying on the ground, never help no one. When you get knocked down, you know that you gotta get back up.